This is pretty wild, folks. I literally just finished shooting at 2025 London Concours, surrounded by V12 Lamborghinis and perfect polished Aston Martins. But now I am at Heathrow T3. So the past few years, I worked through this corridor so many times I lost count. But today, it hits different because this is the first time ever I was being invited by a Chinese manufacturer, go back to China, do a gig as a UK-based media. So that's why I'm talking in English. I want to share my perspective and this trip to different audience other than my original fan base. It's pretty wild, huh? The past few years, I live in the UK and travel to many different countries to share stories, telling stories, and learn about different people. And this time, I want to talk about the breakthrough, the know-how of Chinese manufacturers. I wouldn't miss for the world. So this time I was invited by Chen go to Chongqing to visit their factory, also to attend the Chongqing Auto Show. Funny enough is I never even driven one of their cars before, never been to Chongqing Auto Show either. Actually, they are launching their brand in the UK later this year. A couple of days ago, I saw one of their cars in Birmingham, the Depot S07. So I think this is going to be very interesting. There's something strangely new about two Chinese parties joined together. Yeah, just landed in Chongqing and it is hot. I mean, 33 degrees Celsius, much hotter than the UK. I have to take these clothes off. I think they should pick me up at the airport, then drop me off to the hotel. And I'm told there is a welcome dinner tonight. And they arranged me one of their cars for me to drive around. It should be interesting. Whoa!
一个小花。
哇，谢谢谢谢。Look, wow, coffee.
对。
谢谢谢谢。So what we're about to see is one of the most famous view in Chongqing. They call it yellow Ferraris. It's the taxis, yellow taxis lined up to pick up passengers. And whenever you landed in Chongqing, this is the first sight you'll see. And so because Chongqing is a mountainous city, and so they need powerful taxis. They used to use Suzuki's with 2-liter engine and a manual gearbox. Some of them converted to LNG, but now it's all EVs. 谢谢。Hello?
你好，麻烦
Okay, yeah. Yes, now I'm in the hotel room. Check it out. It's pretty nice, huh? Gonna spend 6 days here. And as you can see, outside the window is Chongqing. It's huge, right? Good view. So this hotel is located near Jialing River. This is the mother river of Chongqing. And being one of the municipalities in China, Chongqing is a megacity, highly advanced, and has a very deep and thorough connection with the automobile industry. And just now, Chen has given me a box, has a logo on it. I have no idea what's inside, so maybe let's unbox it. See what's inside. It's pretty huge. Big box. Ah, there's a bag. The Chang'an Depot's bag. The color is pretty good, huh? It's a paper texture. What's inside it? Small bag. Named Avatar 1-2. Another small box. It's a fragrance. What's this? very Chinese style wooden box. Ah, look, this is a Chinese, very traditional Chinese folding fan, and there's a Chinese wording here. It's called 一路长安, which means 一路 is all the way the direction, and Chang'an is the brand's name. Also in traditional language, it's called Chang is longevity, and An is stability. So it's a very good meaning. There's Ma Hua is a Chinese snack. 磁器口 Ma Hua is just near here. 磁器口 is Chongqing's tourist destination. Hello. Yeah. Cheers. It's Chongqing. They call it 小面. It's spicy. But I'm from Nanchang, another spicy eating city, so I don't care. Folks, check out the view of Chongqing. There's a lot of foreign press here, and everybody's taking pictures. I think this is really a great opportunity to showcase the world how fast and advanced of Chinese technology these days. So we have to stay within the yellow line because it's for the tourists to see the factory, and otherwise will affect their efficiency. What this means is have to grasp or control the core technology within your hands. Pretty much sums up all the technology, why the Chinese cars are highly advanced these days. Because in the past we are not that competitive in terms of technologies, so we have to invest and develop these technologies and implement it into the new energy vehicle. We call it the EVs and the plug-in hybrids. So that's why in a few years' time, most of the great product in the market is Chinese. Here we are is their wheel and tires assembly. It's also automated, grasping the tire and put it onto the vehicle. It's all happened simultaneously. So these are the depot models. They are launching the brand later this year in the UK. And they have two models now. One being the smaller version, the S05. The other is a little bit bigger, called the S07. So I can see one of their camouflaged cars on my right hand. So this is another perk about being a Chinese journalist here. Nowadays, there's a lot of new cars, and most of them I can't recognize because each manufacturer has different brands, and they're launching the car maybe month by month. So I have no idea what that car is. Maybe a sedan, maybe a full-size sedan. So folks, the depot complete car is ready to roll out, and they have to go through a route. This thing can de-stress the suspension and tires. So after de-stressing the tire and the suspension, these cars is ready to do the four-wheel alignment. Now you can see they are doing the tracking and alignment. And after that, this car is ready to drive. So as we exiting the factory, you can see, oh sorry, there's a lot of cars parked here. Each day, this brand new vehicles is coming out from the factory and goes to, I don't know where, maybe all over the world. Sometimes you just forgot how massive this factory is. So after several hours of shooting, let's have lunch. And I am at Chang'an R&D Center's canteen. So approximately 1,000 people would eat here every day. So let's see what kind of food. So they gave me 3 vouchers. That's 25 RMB, 3 euro, 3 pounds. I choose the pork knuckles and mint pork. Wow, it looks very tasty. This is pork feet rice, one of my favorite rice in China. And they've been prepared for other foreign medias with McDonald's, but I won't eat McDonald's in Chongqing because Chongqing is a very tasty city. Have a lot of local cuisines, hot pot, and very spicy. Let's see this. Look, this pork looks spicy but very tasty. And where I came from another province called Jiangxi, and the capital city Nanchang is another spicy eating city. So that's why I like Chongqing food. It's familiar taste for me. I may have to do this. Good morning, folks. So here we are at the 2025 Chongqing Auto Show. This is one of the biggest car events in China. Maybe other from Beijing Auto Show, Shanghai Auto Show. They are doing a rotation. This year was Shanghai Auto Show, and the next year will be Beijing. Then it's Guangzhou Auto Show, Chengdu Auto Show, and here we are at Chongqing. As you can see here, there's a map of all the exhibitors attended this event here. Most of them are Chinese brands. One of the problems being a journalist in China is that most of the China brands you guys couldn't recognize. So I'm going to show you most of them and trying to give you a simple comprehension of how their product is and what their brand represents. And some of them I think you already known in Europe. So this is Lynk & Co. It's a sub-brand being a joint venture between Volvo and Geely. And this is Chery, one of the biggest car brands in China. Then exists their sub-brand. ZHERAN'S is their Chery's off-road brand, sort of like a boxy SUV brand. This is Baojing, a joint venture between General Motors and SAIC. Also Wuling. So I think you guys probably noticed that this is like Yiqifeng, Yiqi Toyota. So it's the FAW's joint venture with Toyota, and this is Honda's joint venture with Guangqi, which is GAC. Li Auto, you probably have already watched some videos about Li Auto with Top Gear, and this is GAC Hypertech. So most of the brands I will cover in this video, not only about Chang'an. So this corridor is the main route that maybe can lead us to all the brands that we can see today. We have 5 stands here. Chang'an Futte, Chang'an and Ford's joint venture, and Mazda, Chang'an Mazda, Chang'an, their main car brand, Avatar, their premium brand, premium electric brand, and ZHERAN'S, which we've been talking about these past few days. So as I mentioned before, Chongqing Auto Show is one of the 5 Category A auto shows in China. But in terms of influence, I think it's less important than, let's say, Beijing or Shanghai. So today we are going to see a lot of different groups of people like salespersons, maybe PR persons, maybe medias. So it's a bit crowded today. And hopefully we can get to see as many cars as we want today. Starting with Chang'an. So if you are not deeply associated with Chinese market, I think most of the cars, even the brands, you can't recognize today. So this is Chang'an. They call it Chang'an Qiyuan. It's their mainstream, sort of an entry level. So this is their flagship SUV called Q07. It's a big 5-seater. So this year we can see a lot of these large SUVs coming from different manufacturers in China because there's a surging need in this kind of vehicles this year. So let's see Chang'an. This is one of the Chongqing native brand, and being one of the major manufacturers in China, they are selling a lot of cars each year. I think the total numbers of all the Chang'an cars combined is more than 20 million. They used to build weapons, and they have more than 150 years of experience about manufacturing industry and more than 40 years of car building. So you can see there's a variety of their products. This is a pickup truck. And this is a mid-size SUV. They call it CS55. It's already the third generation of it. And as you can see from the front design, starting from 2018, I think Chang'an have adopted this very aggressive front-end looks. They have this very sleek, very angular elements in front, and I think most of the Chinese company is adopting this kind of design because they call it surfacing, a complex surfacing. So whenever you hit by one of their cars, it's like a tattoo. And this is the unique V. Some would call it a JDM type of performance-oriented sedans in China. I think probably. Let's see the front end. There's a lot of performance elements like the front lip. I don't think this is a real carbon fiber, but really slick design, also angular. A lot of young people like to buy this car because it certainly looks cool and relatively cheap. So let's see Lynk & Co then. I like how their cars being refined by each generations because you can see this brand in Europe starting from 2021. 01 plug-in hybrids is already launched in Europe for some times now. And this their brand new product, their newest product. This is 900, another big SUV. I really like their new front end. You are trying to be unique, you have to take more extreme steps, and I think that's doing a great job. Big electric EV, very sleek, and from some certain angle you can find sort of like a Panamera feeling. I think this really looks like a 911. Really looks like 911 from this angle. So Lynk & Co is another brand not only specialized in EVs but also combustion engines. So this is their sporty sedan, I think with Volvo powertrain and also GD technology to combine this sort of a compact sedan. This is their race-oriented car because you can see this 03, the second generation. They've been using this as the donor car of their WTCR racers. And Lynk & Co is like the first Chinese premium brand. So this is Geely stand. They've been using two different brands to represent Geely. First is this, sort of like a round six-piece logo, and there is a more square of a six-piece logo. So they used to call it geometry, but now it's Galaxy. So you can see this car in Europe too. I think I just attended one of their press launch in Milano. Another very beautiful Chinese design sedan, and also pretty much looks like a Panamera. Very complex, very beautiful, stylish. rear lights. Very secret design. Let me show you. It's here. This is a pretty scene on the West Lake. So this Galaxy E8, I think, can really sums up what the Chinese car designers can do this day. Very beautiful, very stylish, and not as expensive as you think. Check out in the cabin. It's a horizontal, very, very lengthy screen. And the quality, I mean, if you take one of the Chinese cars these days, their finish, their quality is beyond imaginably good. Now let's see what else we can find. Maybe to see BYD then. So BYD is now a mega group in China. Number one for a while. This is their sort of a premium, unique brand. They call it Chongqing. Maybe Formula Leopard. It's more of off-roady looks of SUVs, or with DMI or fully electric. It's like a Range Rover or Land Cruiser. Huge. Sort of like a traditional design, but also has some Chinese way of thinking. It's a platform where you can deploy a drone. You can see that's a drone, and you can deploy it. There's a launch pad at the back of the car, at the back roof of the car. So this is Yang Wang. So in Chinese, Yang Wang means looking up. So this is their flagship. There's a luxury brand. So they have 3 vehicles, 3 models. That's UA. The giant plug-in hybrid off-roader. Not off-roader, it's a luxury SUV. Maybe with the Cullinan or Range Rover competitor. And this is their newest model called the U7. It's a Panamera, another Chinese Panamera. But with the plug-in hybrid, the combustion engine is actually a boxer engine. The first of Chinese boxer engine to ever put into production is this car, Yang Wang U7. So this really highly technology advanced. And this is U9, their supercar. And also have a very clever and unique suspension that can jump. I've driven one of them, also joined their launch in Festival of Speed last year. So this, I think, is their most famous vehicle to date. And this is another BYD cars have a launch pad of a drone, also at the roof of the car. I don't know about the design language of BYD, but certainly as all the cars lined up, you can see this really is a Chinese luxury brand. And what they represent is one aspect of a Chinese car culture. It's really outlandish. And also, if you want to make a car that's attracting attention, I think the Yang Wang is the car to go. After Formula Leopard and let's see Yang Wang, this is Denza. So Denza is another premium brand of BYD. They used to be a joint venture with Mercedes, but Mercedes was pulled out, now fully owned by BYD, doing better than before because of their new product. So now there's the Z9. They have 2 different bodies. The first being the Z9 GT, it's sort of like I'm sorry, this is the 4th Chinese Panamera we've seen today. But this is the Panamera Sport Turismo, being a sort of a shooting brake estate body of the Z9. They call it GT, but really have nothing to do with GT. But this is the sedan. You can see a more traditional roofline. These 2 cars being their flagship sedans. And now it's their mid-size SUV. It's called N7. And they sort of twisted their front-end design to be more simple. And I think it looks better than the original. And I will show you a picture to compare. And this is their flagship 7-seater called N9, another Chinese sort of a Range Rover competitor. So this is another unique site. You can see in most of the Chinese, I think all of the Chinese auto shows, it's the live person. They are doing a live stream of the cars, and being a salesperson, they are trying to sell their products. And if they, I mean, is this really something to do in the auto show? Let's talk about cars then. So BYD has two lineup of cars under the BYD brand, but it's two different lineup. The first being the Ocean, and the other called Dynasty. But there's some of the twisted, the Song Plus. The Song Plus is sort of looking like a Dynasty, but it's under the Ocean lineup. You probably wouldn't remember all of this, but this is just extra information. So let's see the Dynasty cars. The Dynasty being all the traditional or the past dynasty of Chinese history. So BYD very cleverly using their Chinese wording as their I think it's the model logo, it's not the brand logo. And this is Yuan Up, a smaller SUV. It's very, it looks cute. So everybody is talking about BYD design, saying there's a lack of some of the refinement, lack some of the stylish. But after some overhauls, I think their cars now is at least it's good to look at. Let's forget about some details. Sometimes we just lost for words, man. So that's the Avatar. I mean, this brand has been in a internet hotspot for the past few weeks, has been questioning not only their design but also their drag coefficient figures. I don't know the result of it, but certainly from the looks of it, it looks sleek. Specifically, it's this model, the 1.2, their large smart sedan. For me, it looks heavy. It's another counterpart of the Porsche Panamera. But the design language is certainly very unique. I have not seen anything like it for a while. Look at the rear arches, it's like a wide body. The shoulder line, very distinctive. So first they launched the 1.1. It's a big SUV. Then it's the 1.2. Nowadays they have a more compact, more mid-sized models, just like this and this. Smaller in size, but I think the design is more refined, especially the Z06. The 1.1 and 1.2 is more outlandish, more flamboyant, and this is more sort of like a civilized type of design. But part of it, I don't understand, especially like this, the back window, or the lack of it. Car doesn't have a back window. The designer said it's because they use the digital rear mirror, but the back window has been on any vehicle for 100 years. So by eliminating that, to emphasize that you have a digital camera, I don't understand what's the point of that. But other than that, I think it's still a very sleek design, very recognizable. So in Shanghai, GWM has showed one of their secret technologies being a V8, 4-liter V8 twin turbocharged. That really gives me some hope in the future because all of the Chinese cars, Chinese products are EVs. It's like X Machina moment. People in the past doesn't really know about Chinese market, no Chinese cars or no Chinese designs and Chinese technologies. But with the EV revolution, all of these vehicles has more chance to be a global product. So I've been driving the Depot S07 for a couple of days in Chongqing now. I have to say, this car looks pretty good. I think this car has a certain types of sporty vibe of the exterior. And the interior, this layout is common in all the Chinese EVs. It's pretty decent. But because of Chongqing, it's a pretty mountainous city. We often go uphill and downhills and sometimes on a winding road. So if your car has a better chassis tuning or suspension tuning, people are gonna notice. And if your car had a bad sort of chassis, we're gonna notice too. So the drive's maybe not as good as it looks. But I think it doesn't really matter because this car can sell a couple of thousands each month in China. I think rather than talking about the car itself, let's talk about why and how the Chinese cars have developed so fast and what can learn from it. So sort of like an open discussion. I can't represent anybody watching this video, but I've been living in the UK for 5 years now. I have owned 10 to 20 different cars, from little sports cars to big V8. I have done a fairly decent mileage with some of the other Chinese EVs. I think back in the auto show, I've said this is the ex machina moment of a Chinese car building. Being a Chinese, I can say in the past the Chinese cars are not as good as now. I think you guys in the West not interested in Chinese car back then. But in just maybe 5 years, the Chinese car is taking over. The EVs are so technology advanced. Some of you are buying Chinese cars. I think some of you didn't have the realization. So I heard somebody is comparing the Chinese takeover to, let's say, in the 1970s, the Japanese car takeover. But I think these two are totally different because in the past, it's because the oil crisis, the Japanese car has small displacement, better maintenance, and better fuel economies. So they are catching and surpassing the European cars and American cars in market. But at the end of the day, they're still using the combustion engine. But the Chinese takeover is because they are using the electric powertrain. They are not only trying to sell you a car, but also a different types of ownership and maybe a different types of lifestyle. So in the past, the Japanese car takeover matters at most. It's how often you go to the petrol station. But now Chinese are trying to eliminate the drives, the human-centered driving experience. They're trying to maybe creating this smart cabin. Going to the cabin, it's not to drive a car, but to share, to experience a ride. I've been very prevented about this concept 2 or 3 years ago, but now it's because I drive enough of the Chinese EVs. I am maybe adopting this concept. Once a new concept developed, people have reasons to not accepting it. But as this trend goes on, you guys may be still experiencing the first generation of EV ownership, but now in China, it's the second generation. So in China, the premium EVs, 15 minutes of charging can charge up to 18% and give you like 400 kilometers of range. It matters little when the charging time is so fast. You've never seen a nationwide effort of automotive evolution. Starting from 2016, so the Chinese government had put a lot of subsidies into the EV manufacturers. And now 10 years have passed. Some of them already went bankrupt, but the survivors all had some tricks in their sleeves. So in just 10 years of time, the standard of a Chinese EV has raised to a new degree. We have to have intelligent drive. We have to have those big screens. And most of the cars has massage chairs. So in the past, what kind of cars you own to have a massage chairs? S-Class, maybe 7 Series. But now, this car, only like 150,000 RMB, equivalent to maybe 16,000 pounds, has massage chairs. It's massaging my back while we're talking. But because of the Chinese cars is so highly developed now, I think maybe we have one pro and one cons. The pros being, like I said, the standard of building a Chinese EV. You have a lot of gadgets that can put in a relatively cheap car, and also the finishing or the quality of building to a new degree. That is because not only the Chinese manufacturers are competing, the companies in the supply chain is also competing. So everything is standardized. Everything comes in a package. Once you choose a Chinese EV, you can never go back. It's because only a Chinese manufacturer can provide you, and with relatively cheap price. But the con is, it's because everything is standardized. Everything is somewhat this supply chain or that, everything is mundane, everything is like the same. So people is questioning why everything looks the same or drives the same. I mean, they are not that recognizable. It's not that different owning a Chinese EV, maybe owning a Chang'an or maybe owning a BYD. The owner experience is not that different comparing, let's say, maybe owning a rotary Mazda or a Boxer Subaru. But I think it takes time to give this manufacturer to find its own identity. Give it time, maybe the second generation, the third generation, because the development is so fast. So maybe the next generation is far superior than this time. I think the future is bright. So maybe in 5 years of time, everybody is driving an electric EV from China in Europe. Or maybe not. But